So, today is a very slow news day. Essentially nothing has come out news-wise. Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the news.
There is news.
There is?
The new season of Boku no Hero.
But that'll be...
Second Infusion.
That's not news!
It's news.
We already knew about it!
Actually, the whole episode was news.
We knew about it a year ago.
Alright, so... Since we don't have any news stuff to talk about, I guess we could talk about anime stuff.
Why don't we talk about this tea we're drinking?
This is Winter Wrap-Up, a seasonal tea that's obviously seasonal, and fits in quite well because yesterday up here in Chicago, on, April 9th, we had snow.
We broke a record by 0.2 inches.
What?
It was the most snow on April 9th by 0.2 inches recorded history. The last time it snowed that much was 1960.
Did it have, negative snow? Because, where did that snow go?
In 1960 it snowed 1.8 inches, and yesterday it snowed 2 inches.
Okay, so where does the snow that they measure go? 'Cause
it melts eventually.
Okay.
And then it evaporates, and then it becomes rain for a season.
No, God, John. Who was the really famous person that shouldn't have had some position that they held that didn't know how the ecosystem works? Was it a president or a senator or someone that didn't know that?
I have no idea what you're referring to, so I can't really comment.
Somebody didn't know how water turned into snow and then evaporated and then turned into clouds.
Oh, I could see that. There was one senator that was questioning an army person about too many troops on an island because if you the island might topple over.
Just to clarify, you said army, not Arby's.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't! They can't handle the meat!
He feared there was going to be too many soldiers on an island, and the island was going to tip over.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Uh-huh.
That wasn't too long ago.
Nah.
No, but this was a few years ago. That was a few months ago. Anyway, yeah. So, I always confuse Winter Wrap-Up as a Christmassy spiced tea, but it's actually like a tropical tea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hence the Winter Wrap-Up. Because winter is wrapping up and it's time for the tropics to come on by.
The taste of spring.
Oh, no, that taste would be a lie. Because we're in Chicago. Spring does not come until mid-June.
We've already had 3
I was
springs.
gonna say April, but look outside.
Uh-huh. I mean, we still sometimes wear jackets in mid to late May. Which is... it's a sin.
You don't wear a jacket.
I wear jackets.
Unless it's a straight jacket. Anyway, back to our slow news day. How's things?
How are things? Let's see. So, dealing with tea shop stuff, it's almost like a video game or a very typical shonen anime, where once you defeat one big bad, another one just comes right on by right after. So it's I have no room to rest and breathe.
As they die, they're like, the next guy'll get you. You thought I was the strongest.
It's even worse that it's kind of like in DBZ, if immediately after Goku defeated Frieza and everyone got transported back to the Earth, the android showed up. It was give us, 3 more years to train.
We need to grind.
Yeah. So currently, it's a case of landlord being what's this anime tea stuff? I am a little bit nervous about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. more or less. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up a nice little fundraiser coming soon, TM, in which we're going to show...
Well, no, it actually is coming soon.
Yes. Just a question of when specifically. Whenever it's done. So we're going to show all of you...
But the TM usually implies, like, you know, coming soon, next December.
Oh, no.
That'll be up sometime this week, right?
Hopefully, yeah.
Okay.
And so to show them via how many people...
So you can hold your breath and not die.
Yeah. Via how many people donate and how much we raise to show them that, yes, there is an interest in this. And, as a reward, we're going to have exclusive donor-only items that we're going to give out as thank yous. There will be a donor-only tea that we will not sell in stores, and a donor-only color-changing mug in various formats. We are still working on the tier level for all of this. The one thing I pretty much have set in my mind is if you donate $500, which is a lot, you get to either name a tea or we'll just name it after you. Which I think is quite an honor. Terms and conditions apply. We can't name it like, you know, like Lowly Tentacle Massacre or something like that, but you know, we'll do our best to work with you and make it legal.
Reasonable.
Yes.
We'll call it Tickle Tentacles.
Let's see if I can work
What was the name of that grape drink?
Grape.
No, it was like
Yeah, it
was tentacle related.
No.
Oh no, I know what you're talking about. I think it was just called Tentacle
Grape?
Yeah. It's from Japan.
It wasn't. No, that was American.
Oh, that was American?
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's how it was like able to get here.
If I ever get myself a nice grape flavored tea, it's gonna be like a behind.
Also, it was an English pun.
Well, no, Japan does that a lot. Just
badly.
Yes, it's so cool.
Well, that's another thing we'll talk about later.
I know we can talk about here since at this point it's not a spoiler. I mean, it's been
but we're
8
heading
years?
we're heading into a sequel, so
yes, but
people
a lot of new people coming in.
Okay,
it's like if you started talking about the book of Game of Thrones from 1996 when the 2011 show is coming out. You kind of have to say, okay, we'll give them a spoiler term, you know, new
watcher grace period.
Yeah, watcher grace period.
Yep. So yeah, if I ever get myself a grape flavored tea, I'm gonna call it tentacle grape, but it's gonna be behind the counter. Only if you know it exists, you get it.
That's like the opposite of what usually happens with those tentacle things.
They go everywhere.
Mm-hmm. And so that's where we're standing. Sunday was fun for us. We were moving our fixtures that we're going to be using, and we all assumed we'd be done by like 1 o'clock.
Oh, we'll get up at 9 and before the store even opens, and like we'll be out of there before people get there.
Yeah. By what was it?
11 hours later.
11 hours later, we finally finished. Even now, like looking back, I gotta scratch my head and wondering how did that take so long.
Well, more importantly, what were we thinking that we thought we would move all that furniture in like a couple hours?
I saw it as being possible. It was just random logistics and being held up by public storage, those freaking greedy bastards. The price changed on me like 20 times as I was standing by the desk.
By the price list.
Yeah, I already pre-registered. So I was like, this is all you're gonna have to pay, we promise. Then I'm there. Oh yeah, you have to use our lock, that's $20. You need insurance.
$20, jeez.
Yeah. You need to get the insurance. They tried to sell me on other stuff, but it was not mandatory, so I just kept telling him no. Yeah, that was frustrating. But yeah, it's finally moved into the storage bin. Now we just wait.
Paying insurance is ridiculous.
Uh-huh.
They're paying their own insurance.
Yeah.
They're just knifing you with that.
Mm-hmm.
I was amazed. I was out in the real world and I'm gonna be moving pretty soon. And apparently condo associations force you to buy insurance.
Well, I'm pretty sure, because it's basically the same as a house, but more communist.
Well, so let's just say that they it's more than just like, hey, get insurance. It's like you need at least this much insurance.
Oh.
And it's not like, so we talked it over, and it was just like, okay, this seems like a pretty reasonable amount. I mean, basically it's just walls and floor. We don't have much that matters. That's expensive.
Right.
And we got about a third of the way there.
A third of what?
Of what they required.
Where were you getting your figure?
We were
Just
talking about like the cost
how much would it cost for if we broke the floor?
Well, no, we were just like
and
all of
stuff?
our belongings. Like, we don't have that many things that are that expensive, so it's just like, okay, we got that, floors, ceiling, walls, all together. If we have the policy that covers this much, we'll be fine. Like, we can cover anything else. And they're like, well, no, you need 3 times that amount.
Well, it's for things like water damage and if your huge friend comes over and crashes through the floor.
Right.
It's mostly for damage through sheer incompetence.
I will tell you how much we estimated it at later. I'm just telling you, it was a lot. Just like, why? But it just was like...
Maybe it's dumb.
It is dumb.
From everything else you've told me, it's been dumb. So, okay. I'll take your word for it.
At least with my old apartments, it was just any insurance in your goods. We were paying like $5 a month for something. Like something like, here it is, you get out of the way.
No.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah.
But I think if you have any property of any kind, you have to have insurance. Like with cars.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we arranged the insurance, but they're just like, oh no, 300%, man. It's like, what?
Plus ultra.
Plus ultra. Like, okay, I'm just gonna line this tub in gold now.
So yeah, that's life. Frustrating.
This
is the news in.
This is the news in anime.
Instead.
One thing I'll say, the kind of cool part about this, although it's like frustrating because there's so much that's up in the air, but after we get stuff moved in, some of the shelving units we got were glass, or see-through, and so I think it'll be kind of cool because that offers us an opportunity to change stuff around and put like things on the glass itself. There's so much opportunity. Like, it's what would you call that? It's like a sandbox.
Okay,
we can just make the world as we go, and it's a really cool space that we've got.
Yeah, it is. It's like a normal shape, but also a weird shape at the same time. It's kind of hard to explain.
But yeah, going back to the GoFundMe. Yeah, every dollar counts. Really, it does. Like, don't think, oh, this is nothing. This is just drop in the bucket. No. I need every drop. I'm thirsty.
It's more every person counts.
Yes.
It's like raising your hand. Who wants this? Because it's got to do with the landlord doubting that people are interested.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I think it's story time. Yeah,
story time. Yay!
He's learned a lot, but. A long time ago, I don't know if we told this story here. I don't think so. But he approached the T-Man approached us all with the idea of the Dragon's Treasure, and we're like, "Oh, a tea shop. That sounds like fun." And you should save up for that over time. And he's like, "Nah." And so he opened up his tea shop. He had about 5 teas, and then he closed it for a while. And we're like, "Well, that was a thing." And about 2 years later. A year or 2 later, he approached us and was like, "Guys, I have an idea. I'm going to combine anime and tea."
Oh no, it wasn't 2. It was like 3 to 5 years later.
Okay, it was
a while. I still have the collector's edition old first, first print.
First print?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a funny story I want to tell anyway. So right now, the design we have is design number 3 of the logo.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know about the other one.
Design number 2 was... that was design number 2 was actually my design number 1. The very first design we used for Dragon's Treasure was... I gave... So the friend of mine who drew the original one, which I wanted, she handed it over to a friend so he can color it. And this is one of the reasons why I just do not trust people who try and use college as any form of, like, I know things. He took my design, or rather, my design/her design, and said, well, in college, I learned this about psychology, so I'm going to delete over half of the shit you did, and pretty much make my own, and color with the colors I want. Here is your design, pay me money.
What parts got deleted?
Essentially every detail. So he was like, people like simplistic stuff, so I'm going to make this as minimalist as I can. Also, here's some really crappy colors that you did not ask for at all. Because this is what college told me. Thanks, guy. I want to just tell mean stories about him, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
And so, so after a certain point, my friend was like, you know what, I'm going to just color this myself. And so we went with...
That's what she should have done in the beginning. I mean...
Yeah.
It's not...
It
wasn't that complex. Well, I don't know, actually, now. I don't think I've ever seen the original one. Huh?
It was her heart driving her head. One of,
okay. So it was the same thing that Yulian was doing to her that she was doing to him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome to the plot. Anyway.
Private! No, it's not.
Yeah. But I remembered the dragon wrapped around the hoard of treasure. Mm-hmm. I still have that t-shirt.
I have a shirt. I don't know about the hoard of treasure.
But anyway, so my story. After a time skip, he approached us and was like, guys, I have this idea. We're going to name teas after anime characters. And I was sort of spearhead of, that sounds like a terrible idea. Like, and it sounded like just needless pandering, and he kind of, he wasn't well received, and so he got kind of uncharacteristically shy, and he's like, no, it'll be a good idea. And just everybody in the room was just like, you made that sound terrible. No, they said it sounded terrible. I'm saying right now, you made it sound terrible. But he had this vision, and no, everyone was against it.
Everyone was against it.
This was my original design with the crack coloring.
Wow, yeah, that got hard detailed.
No, that one was the original. The detail one is even worse.
Yes, there's a lot more detail in this, though.
Like the blue colored one. That design.
Yeah. I do think that this is playing great for audio, by the way. I do think that taking like the little, like, I don't even know what this is. It's like strawberry fields or something on the lid of the pot. That was the right move. But otherwise, yeah, screw that guy.
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
there's too much detail on the lid, but otherwise it's fine.
So, anyways, it sounded awful, and we are all like, no. And he's just like, I hear what you're saying, but I'm doing it anyways. And
like much of the time.
Yeah, really.
I beg to differ. I listen to you guys a lot and change a lot.
That didn't sound like begging to me, but okay. Anyways, so at that point, it was pretty standard, and so he's also like, I'm going to expand my shop by like 500%. We're just like, oh geez, oh geez, so much going on right
God,
now.
Oh man,
please save up this time. And he's like, eh. So anyway, flash forward, we went to a straight tea convention. Like
as opposed
a
to
little old lady tea convention, as opposed to anime, nerddom, anything. Like, these are people that average in their late 60s. Tea convention.
I'd say average in their mid-40s.
I don't think you came with us to the... No, you didn't. It was just me and Julian.
I still haven't been past the Mississippi.
Yeah, you've missed all the car troubles. Yeah. Good for you. Anyway, so we went there, and I was pretty nervous. Julian had gone to a couple other places, and so he's just like, I think this can work. And lo and behold, we were, if not the busiest booth, one of the most busy booths the entire time. And I'm saying at some of the points, we were the busiest booth. It's just a matter of if we were always the busiest booth or top 5.
I think it's because we sample every tea.
That's part of it.
A lot of the people, they don't have samples. They're not selling tea. Or they have, like, 2 samples.
I'll say that you're right for most of them, but remember, the Texas one, they gave away free sample cups. So almost everyone had samples. Just not as many as we did. So,
yeah,
but so like
that's what I'm saying. Like
that's
a lot of the places. It's like, here's your 3 choices.
So that was one of the things we had going for us. But the other parts that I hadn't yet considered at the time was about maybe a fifth of the people that came were boyfriends that were dragged to this tea festival with girlfriends, and they bonded like hard because they saw Goku. Then the 60 to 70-year-olds came over and like, my daughter would love this. And they picked up stuff based upon the things that they had remembered overhearing at some point.
Yeah.
And then there were several people that were in their 40s that had started anime like way back in the first Golden Era.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my gosh. And they were taken back to their youth.
Yeah, we need to get some of the 90s stuff back in there.
Yeah. At that point it was a higher Ball. Yeah, at that point
early 90s.
Which, Space Cowboy was pretty popular.
Yeah.
It was a higher density of the old shows.
I'm always nervous about naming teas because I'm afraid of naming a tea after something that just becomes completely obscure and no one cares about it.
With anime, you don't have to worry.
You know, like if I had like an Outlaw Star tea, like how many people know Outlaw Star?
I love our Outlaw Star. I like Outlaw Star almost as much as I like Cowboy Bebop.
Ooh. Right. So anyway,
But so, yeah, it came out of that with a lot of confidence. And what we need to do is to share that confidence, because I see exactly where the shop owner is. He's just like, cartoons and tea.
Oh, you mean the landlord?
Yeah, the landlord.
The shop owner.
Yeah, you're the shop owner. But he's just like, well, right now he owns our shop.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm also completely like, he is not being a dick. I completely understand where he's coming from. So,
he's not going to come with us to conventions.
Chinese cartoons and Chinese tea.
I don't even know if he cares if it's a Chinese. He's just like, all right, the demographic for like 7 and younger and for cartoons, and then the old ladies drinking tea, because kids drink coffee, which is actually becoming less and less true.
Yeah. From the stories I was told, he's been doing this for like 50-some years, being a landlord, and he's had to evict more than a few youngsters with ideas and ambition but no actual knowledge of business.
Mm-hmm.
And so that also makes him a little bit nervous.
Like idiots who plan 3 hours for 11-hour shifts.
We can do it, guys. Oh, hold on. There's like half a ton of glass here.
I didn't expect that glass to be that heavy. Nobody expected that glass to be that heavy.
That's true, but glass is pretty heavy.
I didn't expect to have to take it apart literally piece by piece. I thought that we could have maybe transported cubbies. But it was fine.
How long do you think it's going to take putting it back together?
I'd
longer.
Yeah. I'd say a couple hours each at least.
So, yeah, keep an eye on that. Some of you have already seen me making the soon posts. Well, I've only made one so far. I'm going to make another one later with a picture.
I commented on the soon post with another soon post.
Yes. Then John made a creepy post.
Everything was just poking its head out behind things.
I haven't seen that. I'll have to take a look.
I don't think you even said soon. I think it was just some.
It was just.
It was just the creepy guy behind the bushes. Like,
I was acting out the culture of the post, man. Because it was just soon, and then I forget what you said, Nick. But then this other person had this mouse hiding. No, it was Julian posted the mouse hiding behind something. Then you had the owl hiding in the car.
Yeah,
it's like, what is this?
I was trying to look for something similar, and then I saw the owl, and I'm like, yes, owls.
What I wanted to find was a person hiding behind a small animal. But then the guy that I found, he just fits, so.
Also, spread the word. For love of God, spread the word.
Yeah,
let people know we're there.
If you know anyone in like a 30-mile radius who likes tea or anime or video games, tell them about it, because we'll have all of those, and they'll have a place to hang out. So even if they can just give $1 or spread the word themselves even more, this is how things go viral, just let them know. That's all we need.
Mm-hmm. And so with all that, is there anything else anyone can think about adding?
No, I think you did a pretty good job just explaining that it's more of a numbers game than it is a money game. Like, money matters.
We've got most of the money right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're a little short for
Basically,
our highly ambitious goals.
Yeah. I kind of screwed up in an understandable way. Like, I've been just feeding, like, every cent I have into the business and buying the things I need. And so my bank account keeps going up and down, but I've not been able to, accumulate because of that. Granted, I have a lot of stuff I need, but... So, like, if he looks at my bank account, it's going to be a case of, wait, where's all your money? I'm using it for the business! So, yeah.
I think that's a short-sighted thing that you keep repeating to yourself, though. Because if, like, ideally you have what you need and money, that's what he wants.
Yeah.
It's not like he knows that you're going to be feeding stuff into your business.
I'll tell you what, if I got the loans in cash like I wanted, that would have been good.
Yeah, that was really weird, but that's
a
story for another time, or not. Okay, so should we?
Yep, let's just go
into the second infusion.
Yep, straight to the second infusion.
I still have tea though.
Finish it.
What do I do?
We'll talk.
Do I just chug it?
Chug it, boy.
Okay.
Chug. Spill on yourself. Come on, do it.
That is a...
Yes, he did it. He spilled on himself. You
I
filthy
spilled
boy.
one drop or a lot of drops in one place.
A lot of drops in one place. So yeah, we'll be more talkative.
That describes what's going to be said in the next the next while.
Well said, English major.
We are spreading the culture of tea.
Yeah. Join us as we talk about good things in anime and terrible things in anime with this new season. And
also, for the love of God, please send us your love letters and creepy messages and good luck messages to Teacast at thedragonstreasure.com. We're not an organization yet. Yet.
Not even organized.
All right.
3, 2, 1. Second infusion time.
Yes, you were right. The longer brew does taste better.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the second infusion, so it's lost a little flavor already.
Mm-hmm.
And just like the second infusion of Winter Wrap-Up, this second infusion will have much more flavor than that.
Yes.
First infusion lacking news.
Wow.
Don't forget, folks, we usually do this off the cuff, so all of the jokes you hear is just straight from our heads.
And my script.
Yeah, script.
And my axe.
So, speaking of axe, record of Grancrest War.
Yeah, he didn't have a sword. I mean, what the heck? It's not even that good of a metaphor, taking the axe from the soldier. Like, or not soldier, the peasant. It would have been better if he gave his sword to, like, you know, someone that was competent, or his knife. Did he have a knife like the other guy did?
Wait, hold on. Did he use his crest without the sword?
Yes.
Because I always had the impression that the crest was somehow related to the sword.
He probably found it through his swordsmanship. But it, you know, comes on his forearm.
I think he just had to, like, beat a bunch of monsters to get it. But I think, like, the sword was super good. Like, it was the master sword or something. So he, like, they were connected.
There is something special about it. I just don't remember what.
It dispels magic, probably.
You know what? I'm just happy that... I'm actually happy that he used something other than a sword. It's been... How many times do you see an axe beat a sword in these shows? Never. It's always...
Yeah.
It's always
Did you watch that scene? It looked terrible.
No, I thought it looked pretty good. Just in terms of, like...
The was that a rapier or, like, a cutlass? It was like a rapier. Saber, maybe. It was, like, going back and forth, and he's, like, blocking it with the little tiny axe blade. Like, if it was like a battle axe instead of a hatchet, that wasn't even an axe.
That would have been really funny, though. Like, the villagers have, like, ladles and frying pans, and one guy has a battle axe. Like, who do you think you are?
I've been prepping for the revolution, man. I took my axe.
I cosplay.
So it's pretty interesting.
They're trying to take my axe away.
It's pretty interesting the way the Rosalina family is controlling the town. They have a lot of ways to control them without actually having to lift a finger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, they can lift a finger and then control them.
Yes.
That's their thing.
That's their biggest thing.
Was that a different mark than the guys that tried to kill the gay guy?
The prince in the when they were meeting there.
The gay guy who had that wedding.
Yeah. Well, was going to, but oh no, it didn't work, guys.
Oh no, my wedding's been ruined by a planned assassination plot. Oh no.
That'll be a left field twist.
Yeah.
But yeah, that
I'm still in love with you, though. No, I hate you, and I'll murder all your families.
Oh darn!
Oh no!
So yeah, one family.
All according to Keikaku.
One family member down. Was it 3 or 4 more to go?
Three sons and a father.
Yes. Well, I think there were 4. So last episode there were 4 at a table, and I think he said that there was one that wasn't there.
Do you think that?
And there's also the witch lady.
Yes.
I have to ask. Do you think that the son that was just sort of bitching, is he gonna be the next guy, or he can be the one that just complains about how everyone else does it, and then he's gonna fail at the end? He's
yes.
just like 200 soldiers. That's not a lot. It's like.
I wouldn't call him bitching. I would call him competent.
Yeah, but then the competent would be like, "Hey, I arranged this other squadron to go with you." He's just like, "No, don't do that."
I don't remember that. Like, I wasn't distinguishing between them because the plot will provide for that later. So maybe that was a mistake on my part. So.
He's gonna be the guy.
All
who
I
fails.
remember is the guy that was like checking out all the girls, and the
alcoholic.
Okay, so there was also the alcoholic. Was that the guy who died in this?
No, he was the girl guy.
Oh,
that was
the
womanizer. Yeah.
Oh God.
Hence him rubbing the ass of the woman, Nick.
Well, yeah, but that seemed pretty monogamous.
He has periods of monogamy.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, yeah, and then there's the.
You could say that witch was a handful.
Yeah, I guess.
He's monogamous with one woman at a time.
And then there's the patriarch, so...
yeah, the reverse Hitler mustache.
He's... I think it's just combed to either side. Which
What, so, like, that's his final form as he combs down?
Yeah, he's just like, I am actually Stalin!
Also not what I was thinking was going to happen there, but...
You haven't seen my final form, Stalin.
So
I killed way many people.
So they finally got themselves a village to back them up, and they have one victory with the death of a major family member. Do you think the rest of the villages will like decide, okay, maybe this is a thing, or will they still be all, I'm still afraid, gotta have one more victory?
Yes, both. I think the neighboring villages will be like, what? Those people we personally know won a battle? I can kind of see that since what's-his-face is in charge, the famous hero, and then other villages are going to be like, no, that's just a rumor.
Right, for the villains, so they have 3 directions they can go. Direction number 1, Witch Lady's all pissed off that the man died, so she's like, I'm gonna take care of this myself. Direction number 2 is, let's just keep sending one son at a time. You know. Option number 3 is, okay, they crossed the line, sent everything all at once.
So their first plan was to trick him into being alone and then just kind of crush him.
Yes.
With 100 guys.
200.
And that didn't... 200?
Yes.
And that didn't work. With him alone and theoretically unarmed.
Theoretically.
So I think... Well, I think the what is she? Is she a witch or just like a demon lady or what?
She is a witch.
Okay, so
She flies on a broomstick.
I think that the witch lady and whatever other attacks are going to be 2 separate things, because she's just like, first of all, she's there because that's her safe
space.
It's her safe space, right? Yeah, that's where they go to not be hunted as heretics or whatever. I think that is going to be a separate front, so to speak, as whatever the family does in retaliation, and I think they're just going to put their full force into it.
You know what? I'm waiting on.
I think they're, by the time that they like gather everyone together, I think that's when they'll have enough like village army peasants to kind of put up a fight. But I don't think.
Keep thinking for a second.
It depends on if they how much intelligence they have, like military intelligence they have, and if they know that there's a huge peasant revolt and he's basically gaining his own army as he goes from place to place.
I really want something to happen with the chaos they're letting run rampant on one part of the island.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that would be, like, sure, it could come down to just, good guys versus bad guys, but then there's going to be a moment where chaos strikes, and this is, like, a really good point in the story to be like, all right, well, the bad guys, they're just going to crumple, because they just have the people that are closest to them are the people that are willing to plunder their brothers and sisters and cousins, because, well, it's better than being plundered. And now the people that they don't really explain really well why certain people just keep harvesting grain if they're going to lose it.
Well, they need to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but they can
their
plunder.
Job. That's all they know. Harvest the field.
Mm-hmm. But they could just as easily do something else, and that puts them closer to the royal family.
Well, when they've been doing it for 40 years, it's kind of, can't teach an old dog new tricks.
But there's not just old people in the village.
That's true.
So,
but from the village that Theo came from, it was like mostly middle-aged and older.
And the women.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. But yeah, they're gonna have to rise against that, and then people have another reason to switch sides. And you'd be prone in that sort of environment to shift towards violence and the plundering, because, well, it gets you closer to the powers that be. It's great. But then if suddenly there's this alternative, it's no longer like the smart and moral thing to do. They can just cast the extra doubt that should be there. So, very psychological. I'm hoping for the chaos to play a role soon.
I'm seeing this finish up in about 2 episodes.
That's what I'm thinking.
Next episode, because I envisioned the father, because he's the one who originally said, "Okay, we gotta take these bitches out fast." And so now his son is dead. So I envisioned him being all like, gather the troops, we're going all in, while at the same time Theo is like gathering his own troops, we're gonna go all in. And that'll be the first 3/4 of the episode. The last 1/4 will be, the battle begins. And next episode, battle scenes, and eventually it wraps up with Theo raising his arm up, being all like, yeah! And that's how I envision the next 2 episodes going.
I'm thinking maybe they'll have like the whole chaos thing as a subplot where, so is the chaos like a radiation zone, or is it? Because they haven't really explained it well, have they?
It's a manifestation.
Is it like a demon spawn point?
It's chaos.
It's chaos.
It's just the
It's not a portal.
The purple spawn point, or the purple statue that was at the wedding, and then it's like, no, you will not get married.
That's one of the ways it can be chaos. Chaos takes many forms, and that's part of the problem. Like by that one castle, it was the poison gas, and
that was human made. It was like a forbidden spell, basically.
It was humans poked the chaos. It was human induced chaos. It was a natural chaos that they dealt with a lot, though.
Yeah,
and they never knew what was going to come up because it's chaos.
I want to see them somehow use that as part of the story, and
okay, Syrian Nick.
Assyrian?
Yeah, Nick.
I want to see them use that as part of the story, and the Corneros or whatever. Like
Rossellini's Cornero was the main character's last
name. Well, it sounds like
the battle
a mafia
goes south,
name.
guys.
Theo Cornero.
The Rossinis use that in like an evil way, and the good guys kind of like they either neutralize it or find a way to make it go away forever. Which, like, that sounds pretty ambitious. Well, the goal is to eliminate it. Yes, to eliminate it forever from the entire world. But it sounds like from the time where they used like the poison gas, it sounds like they can eliminate spots of it. So, if he wants to take over the entire island, it would be good to have it chaos free, especially if vampires and stuff are like, hey, this is a safe space.
We shall.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, going from good anime to bad anime, let's talk about what's, I think, and you might agree, is the shit anime of the season. Magical Girl Sight.
I wouldn't say it was that bad, but it was just how not to do a thing.
Yeah. To save you guys the pain of watching this, the main character is somebody who is getting bullied, and they did all of the bully stuff just so bad and wrong and stupid that like you just didn't care. I mean, in one of the scenes, one of the bullies decided to brutally kill her like adopted kitten, and I still didn't care. And usually I care a lot about that stuff more than I should, but it's just like it's so like one-dimensional and
yeah, it was like, oh, I'm raising. There was like a scene before that. There was a couple minutes, and it's like, oh, I found a kitten. I can empathize with it because you're like a stray. And then she, tries to coax it over, and then she pets it. It's kind of like a montage of her raising this kitten, and then she's like, here, I got you a collar. And then the next day or whatever, she goes to give it like a thing of milk. And then the bully girl is on the other side, and she's like, now I found your weakness. Like, as if trampling her neck wasn't her weakness.
Yeah, just none of the characters were really all that interesting. They were really forcing just everything was bad. Like, the brother just like, what the hell? Like, at this point, it's just, like, dumb.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, the brother...
The brother's supposed to be, like, this perfect guy who gets good grades and doesn't... He can't do wrong, basically. And then he just goes in and, like, punches her in the stomach as hard as he could. And it's just like, I need to work out my anger.
Uh-huh. And then just, like, doing, like, please don't hit me so hard in the stomach, otherwise I won't get my period. Like,
is that how that works?
It was just really...
I don't know, but it's just like, what the...
I don't mind violence, but it was just, like, really, like, weird...
Yeah, I was coming in expecting it to be gritty, but this is gritty done in a bad way.
Yeah, so the first scene, like, they're all by the train tracks, or a bunch of people are by the train tracks, and she starts, like, leaning over the rail like she's gonna jump over and kill herself. And that's how the show starts. So, at the beginning of the show, it's, like, obvious that she's suicidal. And then, like, she keeps saying, I want to die, like, multiple times at different points throughout the show. For pretty good reasons, I would say. And then, so, she's laying in bed, and this like, her computer turns itself on, and it's like... Do you want to join the Magical Girl site? Press OK to join, and she presses OK for, because she doesn't know what she's doing. And it's like, well, welcome to the Magical Girl time. You're going to get your equipment soon. And then it just doesn't make sense from there. So... She goes to her... Another thing that really got me was... She opens her locker door one day to get her shoes, and she reaches in, and she's like, ow! And then, she sticks her finger in her mouth because it's bleeding. And then it cuts to the inside of her locker door, and it's like her shoes are overflowing with, like, razors and...
like just pins and needles.
Like pins and needles, yeah.
It's like
they are so overflowing that it is like you would have had to have like a funnel or something to get them in there. How could you possibly not have seen that? Like, are you blind?
Yeah. And then the second part of that, which again just shows how bad they handle the bullies. The bullies also overreact like, oh my god, that was amazing! Did you record it? I need to put that on YouTube! That was... It's like, yeah. She had a slight cut on her finger.
Well, that's just... it could have just been how stupid she was, but... yeah, that's how over the top it is. It's kind of ridiculous. Yeah. And...
like, the next bully scene is like, her desk is just like covered in graffiti... And they pour, like, I don't know, what honey
like
or something?
It was like mayonnaise or something.
Yeah, just all over her seat. And the teacher, who somehow has not noticed her desk...
No, the teacher just doesn't care. He's just like, welcome to class, everyone.
Just none of it feels right. So I'm done with this series.
Yeah.
The only way I would continue watching is if somebody says I continue watching, let me just apologize for the first episode. If they don't apologize, I am not going to believe them.
I'll try the second, and it's probably going to be the same, and then that's it.
It's because you're a whore.
But to continue on, so she goes to her locker the day after she looks at the website, and there's like a gun-shaped thing, but it's white, and the chambers are like in a heart shape, and she's like, well, this is weird, and she puts it in her bag, and never thinks about it again. And then the bullies are like, hey guys, what if we got a guy to rape her? That'd be cool.
No, it wasn't even that. It was, I'm bored. What else can we do with her?
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I'm going to call Senpai.
How can we take this further? So yeah, that happens, and then like there was even like a note on this like aim it at who you want to kill. And so I'm surprised she just didn't point it at her head and pull the trigger, but
dark.
Well, I mean, like that's the point. That's the point of the show is like she wants to kill herself, and she keeps talking about it, and like as you know, the guy comes in and he's like, we're gonna have some fun. She's like, I wish I could kill myself.
Well, that's just a whole bottle of joy.
Yeah.
Well, so she finally shoots two of the people, and they just get teleported in front of a train.
Huh.
And they did.
Yeah. And so also it shoots like little like
hearts.
Bubbles of hearts. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then like the main bullies are like freaking out about it, and she's kind of like cut up the main character's mouth. It's like, show her. Then in comes in another magical girl who can stop time. And then
first of all, the main character's all worried, like, am I gonna get arrested? Am I gonna get caught? Everyone's gonna know that I did this. That I teleported them into a train. It's like, it's just like,
First of all, how did she know that they got teleported in front of a train?
What?
She saw the bodies.
Oh, on TV or something?
No, she walked past it eventually.
I see.
Yeah.
She didn't know where they went, so how would anyone else know unless they were
we don't know
another magical dumb girl.
We don't know how the magic stuff works, but what we do know is the way the cat died is one of the bullies threw the cat in front of a train. And so it might be
lots of train imagery.
Yeah,
so I'm hoping that one of the characters is a train. I'm hoping that's the twist that will save this.
And so the other magical girl that we saw can stop time, and so she stopped time and caused the main bully to slit her own throat somehow through,
which is gonna get her arrested.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just I was looking forward to the show, and now I'm not. I'm done.
So when I first read the description, I was like, okay, they're being really upfront that this is like, oh, magical girls, dark and gritty. There's going to be murder and death and everything's it's so
like 3 vampires.
Grim dark. and the main character's name is Vampire with a Y. But that like set off like a bell in my head that it was like, this is just like Madoka has it's saturated the market of that type of show. Well, do you know what I mean? Like there's been other shows that are like that style of like magical girls, yay! And then like 4 or 5 episodes in, it's like, but
well,
but this doesn't do that. It's just like, hey, kill people.
Yeah. Was there really anyone before Madoka who really went that route?
Nanoha Yukiuna is a hero. You could make an argument for what's it called?
Yu-Gi-Oh?
Sailor Moon?
No, not Sailor Moon.
fights him by
the
moonlight.
the one that's been out for like 30 years or something. Like it just had a, did you know this day 20 years ago this was released? Yeah. God, I wish I could remember the name because it was really weird.
Well, Madoka was the one who brought that into life. I didn't even know that type of thing existed until Madoka, so seems like it was not very popular until then. Everyone's trying to jump on the bandwagon.
The thing I can't think of, ironically, was super popular.
Fruits Basket?
No. Well, let's move on. I can't. I'll think of it eventually and be like, oh yeah, I'm an idiot.
So moving on to let's make it a quickie. Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
Yep.
The reason we're gonna make it quick is because they wasted like half the damn episode just showing lasers going pew pew. That was obnoxious. I mean, the show's got me hooked.
I mean,
but
the older ones are really slow paced, so it's pretty par for the course. There's usually a lot more talking.
Yeah. For a guy who loves military tactics type of stuff, anime usually does it very poorly. This one, I don't have too much hope from what their strategy was, but hopefully it'll get better.
Because it was a bad tactic?
It wasn't a bad tactic, but they went about it like the very worst way you can. So the way it worked was, the main characters, they were going to be surrounded by bad guys who were just much bigger in numbers, but they broke them up into 3 sections. And the 3 sections were going to try and surround the main characters. So the main characters realized, yeah, those 3 sections are each smaller than us.
Yeah,
so
they were basically in like a wall formation, and then the 2 side groups would come out, and then they'd be surrounded.
Yeah. So the idea of taking them out one at a time is not bad. It's one of the things that Napoleon did when he began to get surrounded by people. But they went about it in the worst way you can, which is attack directly in the middle, which would have given the other 2 sides
a flank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, what you're supposed to do is supposed to hit one of the 2 sides,
right?
And then
I think he actually did hit the right side, or
no, he went straight up the middle.
First.
No, he went straight up the middle.
Well, what he did was he charged full speed forward because they hadn't completely surrounded him yet. So he full stopped ahead, and then they were like, "What's he doing?" And everyone was confused. Oh, and he also jammed their communications. So none of the other wings or whatever you want to call them knew what to do. They're like, oh, well, let's just keep following orders.
Well, they couldn't communicate, but they can still see what was going on.
Right, but they're like, what do we do? Let's follow orders. Because they were idiots. So he was able to take out the left wing.
No, it was definitely the middle wing he hit first. Then he went to the right, then he was going to take out the left wing.
Okay, maybe.
Trust me, I was raging about this. Out of all the ones, you had, out of 3 things, 2 of them would have been good, and you chose the exact one which, if things went about like you would expect, will kill you.
Huh.
So yeah, I'm hoping they fix this little issue of retarded tactics. But yeah, so he took out the middle, then he took out the right. He went for the left, and we found out that the commander for the left flank died, and so the second in command took over. Or I don't even know if he was second in command. And he developed a strategy.
So, having watched a couple of the older episodes, I think he was just some random guy.
Well,
but I could be completely wrong.
I would like that even more, actually.
I could be entirely 100% making this up out of my head, but that's what I'm remembering.
So he said needs to come, per the commander's instructions, I am now in charge. Just do what I say and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
That's a Lelouch move.
And so what happened was the main characters were going to go just straight up the middle. And so what the other main character did for the left flank is he basically parted the Red Sea and let the bad let the main characters go straight into the middle, and then you hit them on both sides.
They're both the main characters.
Yeah.
The next episode's probably going to be from his perspective.
And so the way it worked
and
is...
he likes tea.
Good.
Yay!
So the way the main character worked was he like, I am just so bored of these pathetic tactics. I mean, like, I can win this war blindfolded. This is just dumb. I wish there was somebody who could challenge me.
He's kind of like one of those guys who's like, finally someone who could stand up to my fists.
Yes.
But with tactics.
Yes. And so before that, like, all of the generals of this army were just like, we should plan a retreat. We are outnumbered.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I think we're going to be fine. Just follow my orders and shut up.
Yeah.
And so they were doing that, and then, boom. So, yeah. It looks like this is going to be a show that's going to be oversaturated with the characters, though.
There's tons.
Because I saw the outro, and I was like, okay,
They're not even all in there.
God, there was like 60. It was like...
This is a really old show.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard to tell them apart because they all have the same goddamn uniform and hats.
Yeah, I know. If you like,
a third of them have the same voice actor.
I wouldn't be surprised,
right?
If you like the tactics and are fine with the slow pacing, but are annoyed by all the laser fights, just watch the older ones because it's basically that. And I don't remember if the tactics they used were the same, but I couldn't get into that because it was really slow. And also there was a ton of it, and it started off as an OVA, then like it was a movie, then it was an actual show. It was really like the watch order was really convoluted.
Yeah.
I think there's just a YouTube playlist for it.
Nice.
So one thing that it did do pretty well, I think, was it had like pretty much all of the anime parts were actually anime, but all the space battles were 3D. And that's great. Because unlike Fist of the Blue Sky, which was better than last week, but it was still kind of bad, it was like separate, right? So you have the show itself kind of is like different from the space battles, which are hard to animate and they don't look that great, and it's just kind of like you might as well just do it in 3D rather than 2D.
I liked Gurren Lagann. Those space battles.
Oh,
were fun.
well, yeah. Pour some money right in there.
Absolutely.
Hey, I'm getting a phone call.
Unfortunately for you, it was not a scam.
Yeah.
You just ruined some random girl's day.
I did.
You don't want it? Oh, well, okay.
I'll just go in the corner of the room.
We went through all the steps of trolling her into thinking that we were actually going to buy her service, and then he's like, oh, I don't want that, and she's like, well, have a nice day, and you're like, oh.
Well, it seemed like it was... In the beginning, it was one of those like automated voice message things that made it sound like it was going to be one of those scams. And so I wanted to have some fun, but...
Wow, you must have never had a landline, have you?
It's been a couple of decades. So, yeah.
There's a reason I don't answer my phone.
And I noticed it first when it was not an Indian voice. Like, uh-oh. This might actually be legit.
Oh.
Yeah, we had some fun with scammers before, but I don't think we can talk about that on here.
Usually it's like we found a virus on your computer. Uh-oh. How do I fix it? Oh, go into your security settings and turn them off so I can get in. now pay me $30.
Yeah, it was definitely something. All right, so you're talking about Fist of the Blue Sky?
No, I was just... Well, I might as well. not gonna watch it anymore.
Yay!
It's kind of but that's all I can really say about it. That's changed from last week. The animation's better. I think maybe they just did something different. I don't know. Other than that, I think Hinamatsuri is a must-watch. TLDR, there's a Yakuza, and he's living in this huge condo, and a pod with a girl inside just crashes into his house, and so he takes her out of the pod thing, and she's kind of like selfishly doing whatever she wants, and she's got telekinetic powers, so he's kind of forced to go along with it. And they develop a kind of weird, like, parental relationship, and he gets in order to to do Yakuza stuff, and she gets kind of she realizes that, and she gets kind of confused about why he won't just like order her to do it, because apparently she's used to, like, when people find out about her powers, they're like, go rob a bank for me or something. Like, they get a look in their eyes, and then she just becomes like the item of power to them. So, then she goes and does it because she wants to, not because she's being controlled. And so it becomes a nice little, like, relationship thing.
Aww.
It's pretty nice, and it's like a. I'm not sure what genre it even is. It's like weird genre. Oh, there was also the first scene before the opening had nothing to do with the show at all. It was just like this weird. I don't even know what it was. But anyway, yeah, it's a like a comedy, like, I guess you could call it a drama with the father-daughter thing, and she's kind of like, I'd say she seems like 10 to 12, but she's like really awkward, like a space person, so like she's sort of learning how things work, but it's pretty good. It's there's a little bit of action too.
Oh my.
So it's kind of like a show for everyone. So you should check that out. Also it's called Golden Kamuy. Kamuy, and it's set in, I think, 1914, and the main character is he was a soldier in World War One, or maybe it was the Japanese-Russian War or something. I don't know, but he's just like a beast soldier that came back from the war. In the first scene, he's talking with his friends who are, in trenches, and they're like, I hope we don't die. And then...
They die.
Yeah, they do. Spoiler alert. But then, the guy's like, charge! And, they charge at the Russians who are shooting cannons at them. And then they're shooting machine guns at them as they get closer. And he's just this monster, basically, who is doing everything. Like, first he's cutting the barbed wire, like, as there's bodies on top of him. And then he's charging up the hill, and he does, like, a kick into the enemy trench. And then he's got the bayonet into people, and he's punching other guys. He just runs into the enemy trench and takes the entire enemy trench down.
Oof.
So he becomes known as this legendary, invincible warrior guy. And he's got a nickname, but I forget what it was. And so, years later, he's looking for gold up in the mountains. Like,
Lord!
Looking for gold
pretty
in
much.
all the
There's a gold
places.
rush, and he hears that there's a good place for gold is in this area, and there's this random old man just talking to him, and he's like, I hear you're this invincible soldier who does a bunch of stuff, and he's like, yeah, maybe. You hear all kinds of stories, and then the old man is like, well, I have a story for you, and he tells him this story about this one guy stole a bunch of gold, like gold nuggets, and it was like, I forget what the value was, but it was basically like, Fort Knox of gold, and he hid it somewhere, and then he got sent to prison, basically Japan's version of Alcatraz, and so he knew he was basically stuck there for life because the guards and the government and everyone wanted to know where the gold was, so he wouldn't tell them, but he gave a bunch of his fellow prisoners tattoos with the map on them. So all these 20 guys have the maps tattooed onto their, like, basically their entire body. Like, who's a character that's got a bunch of tattoos, like, covering them?
Only one I can think of is a character from Hinamatsuri. You've not seen that, so...
I've been reading it.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
The giant Yakuza dude.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's cool, too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a map, so it's like just lines, and then occasionally there's like writing. So the 20 guys have to find each other and work together
under the walls to get to them, or is this just like they throw you down into a pit and that's the prison?
I don't know. It's just shut up. He did it.
Okay.
So the random guy who's been telling the story is like, it might be true, but it might not be. Wink, wink. And then he's been drinking, and he kind of just drifts off. They're next to a fire. And then the other guy goes to sleep too. The guy returning from the war. And then he wakes up, and
The old guy robbed him.
no, pretty much.
Yeah.
That, but more importantly, he robbed his gun. And he's like, I told you too much. It's time for you to, like, I have to take you out. And, like, he doesn't know how to use the gun, though. So there's just, like, it's bolt action. So he's like, I gotta shoot you, though. So he just goes up and, like, punches the guy. And, like, he's down cold. And he's like, maybe there's more to this gold thing than I thought there was. And then the guy, like, runs away and gets eaten by a bear.
Man, this is Russia.
Yeah, it basically is. It's as far north in Japan as you can get without going into water. So he's trying to hide the body from the bear while not getting eaten by the bear or letting the bear eat the body. And there's this Ainu girl, which is they're the native Japanese, and So they form an alliance to find and track down all the 20 people. And she realizes that they weren't meant to, like, the 20 people are, going to go meet up together. We're going to make the map and then split it 20 shares. They have to be skinned. And then the map gets, put together. So this crazy guy in the prison made a map that you have to, like, murder 20 people for. So they're working together. She's this, like, 10-year-old awesome like bow with poison and, like, knife survival girl, and he's just, like, just plain awesome. It's pretty good. So far, that's my anime of the year, I think, or of the season.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Right. For me, I saw, what's it called? Dances with Dragons, or A Dance with Dragons, something like that.
That's the Game of Thrones book.
Well, that was also the name of the show. And, I mean, I'm gonna keep watching it to give it more chances, but what is with shows nowadays and just, like, vomiting narrative?
I don't think it really did that much.
Yeah, it did.
It just, like, it had a bunch at the beginning, but then it kind of just, like, slowed down. It got all the plot in, like, one little hard cluster, and then slammed on the brakes, and then everyone was just hanging out for a while.
Yeah. Just, like, all this stuff, like, okay, so there's this town, and, like, this is the Senate, I guess, and he's from a different race/religion, and there's dragons, and, like, levels of dragons, and then elf's got a nice ass, and just, like, his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Just, like, I don't know, like, I can't keep up. Like, these...
Well, like, I mean, you can't keep up with the fact that he has an elf girlfriend. Like, come on.
No.
I understand, like, there's the Imperial Senate, like, that's kind of complicated. And they were all like I'm the ambassador to Darfuria or whatever. Like, that's, it's hard to tell if that is ever going to come up again, or if it's just like, we're people, we're ambassadors, or if it's going to be like Grancrest, where it actually matters.
Yeah, I don't know. They just threw a lot of stuff.
They did throw a lot of stuff, and they did throw a lot of the settings, like, crucial bits towards the beginning.
Yeah.
Which it was kind of badly handled.
You know what I find to be absolutely hilarious? So one or two main characters, the religious last of its race type.
Yeah.
So he's got his normal mode. He's got his level 1 mode, which is he puts on a bunch of armor.
Yeah.
And then his level 2 is he takes the armor off. Just like, you know what? There are flaws in this.
That's when he gains plot armor.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give it a 3-episode treatment. We'll see what happens. Otherwise,
yeah.
I can't even talk about it because just like, I don't know what to say.
I'm not too excited about it, but it's like, it's worth watching, I think.
Dragons look cool.
Yeah, the dragons look cool. There were definitely some dragon fights. Were there one or two?
Basically one. I mean, there was one which there was like a one-shot kill off screen.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't really count. Then was a fight with like the semi-ultra, whatever they called it.
Alter.
Just alter?
What subs did you watch?
I don't know. Boobs. So yeah, that's it with that. So that leaves just the season opening of My Hero Academia. Let's start with the intro. This intro I'm not really much of a fan of.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I like the other two.
It's an intro.
Yeah. Like the other two, I felt like they kind of set the mood.
Yeah.
This one...
It felt like power was rising.
Yeah. This one, like, it's not fitting in what's gonna happen. It's
Yeah,
not
so,
really...
John, you're the only one that hasn't read the manga.
Right.
Yeah, it's just
Okay, so, yeah.
not fitting. I think this episode, I think they did a good job of making it a filler episode. Because they needed to do the whole, like, let's recap thing, and they didn't want to, like, waste plots.
I'm glad that they did a recap thing.
Yeah. They did it in a way which was not going to waste the main plot points.
Yeah, that was actually, like, one of the best recap episodes I've ever seen.
Yeah. I also love the troll of it all. Just, swimsuit episode! Like, here's my fantasy, and it's like, oh no, they're just wearing the regular school uniforms. Bam!
I like the invisible girl in the swimsuit uniform.
Oh yeah, she's hot.
It's actually more revealing.
I really wish that they paid a homage to Love Story. Like, they could have done something, and then Ida-kun was just like, I'm Ida-kun. But, yeah. I also kind of wish that, because they built up that race, and finally it's the final three. You know who it's going to be.
Yeah.
Especially when they broke it out into three groups. And they're about to go, and the Eraserhead just comes in and cock blocks the whole show. In a cock block episode, I'm just like, man, yo, dog. I thought I was going to get plot. No. They're teasing the girls in the bikinis. No. Okay, fine. At least we're going to find out the three of them, which one's starting at the no. The highest place. But anyway, I thought that, what's his name? Midoriya would have at least run swum to the other end. Where they stopped once their powers, because their strategy was reliant upon their powers. His was not.
Yeah, why not just swim? Once they lost their powers, why not just swim it?
Well, so what I'm saying is the other two, their Ice Guy was relying on his powers to across.
Right.
Bakugo wasn't even going to touch the water; he was just going to fly.
Right. So why not? Like,
so
the other,
them,
I'm sure the other two can actually swim.
They can, but
why
so what
not
I'm saying is
just go?
I'm saying from a story standpoint, like, I could see them falling in the water and being like, oh darn, and like turning and come around. But Midoriya, he was just going to swim anyways.
Right.
So I don't know why he stopped. Like, he was just.
That's what what I'm saying. Like, why?
No, you're saying it for everybody. I'm saying it just for Midoriya.
Oh.
Like, he was in the diving position, and he was like going. I could see the other two like, well, that didn't work.
He was probably taken aback because he expected like a giant leap forward, and it's like, what just happened?
I know, but this thing is he doesn't quit.
Yeah. Plus, after they were all like taken off guard, Eraserhead was just like, okay, everyone's done.
This is just past 5. And man, was he pissed about it.
Yeah. Next week, plots begins again. So, what do you think about the post-credits scene? If anybody missed that. So they announced they were going to switch positions, and then all of a sudden the hero or the villain association knows they switch positions. That must mean they have a mole. Or maybe a rat? Because the principal's a mouse. Yeah?
I hope it's not the principal.
I don't trust that little
weasel.
Rat.
He's a weasel.
He's a weasel?
I don't know.
That was a rat.
I thought he was a mouse.
I think he's a mouse.
Same thing.
Which is different than a rat.
Nah, same thing.
Rats are evil.
Yeah, what do you think?
Rats can...
Not about rats! John, since you have not read the manga?
I haven't read the manga. It's just they either have someone in there, which seems to be the logical conclusion, or someone's power lets them... Like, they what's the closest parallel? It would be, what was the Tonkatsu Ramen?
Tonkatsu Ramen?
You know how they were able to plant bugs on people? Maybe someone's powers, they can plant something on somebody.
Yeah.
Or just watch them.
Yeah, or like use their senses, sort of thing. Like,
yeah.
We should read the manga so we can talk about that. It's in a weird arc right now. It's like the manga is doing a filler arc.
I just realized that I haven't gotten updates for that, which means my manga reading app thing is broken.
Maybe you're broken.
No.
Yeah. Right. So I think I just about covers it. We can't really talk too much about a filler episode, in which it's just mostly a filler recap. So, yeah, next week we'll have more.
I don't like the ending.
The ending?
Yeah.
I don't...
There's a reason.
Huh?
There's a reason.
There's a reason you don't like it?
No, that you can't remember it.
It's just too bland?
Well, it was like a lullaby or something. If I'm remembering it right.
I don't remember it at all. Yeah, so that covers this week's Teacast. Now we're gonna go and do tea things. And yeah.
Yeah.